We are launching a deep dive today into something that really challenges how we think about painful experiences.
Right.
It's called childhood emotional neglect, or CEN. And we're drawing heavily from the work of Dr. Jonice Webb here.
It's a fascinating and I think very important topic.
So when you hear the word trauma, you probably think of something that happened,
Shouting, a big dramatic event, something you can point to.
Exactly. But this dive is all about the flip side. The surprising truth that sometimes the deepest wounds come from what didn't happen.
That's the perfect way to put it. CEN is really the trauma of absence.
Of absence.
Yeah. It happens when a child's emotional world is it's consistently overlooked. The parents might be great providers.
Food, shelter, school, all the practical things are covered.
All of it. But they fail to notice emotions, to respond with empathy, or to, validate what the child is feeling.
It sounds like. Yeah. You're given a car, it runs perfectly.
Yeah.
But no one ever gave you the owner's manual for the emotional gears.
That is a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
You have these feelings, but just no idea how to operate them.
So the lesson the child learns, without even realizing it, is...
my emotions don't matter. Or maybe worse, my emotions are a burden.
But wait a second. If a parent is providing everything else, isn't that enough? Why is this a trauma?
Well, that's exactly why it's so invisible. And so hard for people to recognize in themselves.
Because there's no big event to remember.
Precisely. There are no memories of harm, just this chronic feeling of absence. In fact, because the parents did provide, the adult often feels this immense guilt.
For what?
For even thinking something was wrong. They tell themselves, I had a good childhood, I shouldn't complain, so they minimize their own pain.
And you end up with these adults who might be incredibly successful.
Brilliant, responsible, the person everyone relies on.
But inside, they're carrying this constant aching feeling that something is just missing.
And that emptiness, that emotional void, is the direct result. It's the aha moment for so many people when they learn about the symptoms.
What are they? What should you be looking for?
Well, there's that chronic emptiness we mentioned, a feeling of being disconnected even when you're with people you love.
Okay.
And a real difficulty identifying your own feelings. You might know you feel bad, but you can't name if it's anger or sadness or frustration.
You're emotionally colorblind.
That's a great term for it. Then you see things like intense perfectionism and low self-worth.
Trying to prove you matter by being flawless.
Exactly. And a big one is people-pleasing. A deep discomfort with asking for help or feeling intense guilt when you have to express a need.
And all of this, it all boils down to one core belief, doesn't it?
It really does. The one that CEN quietly instills deep inside. And that belief is simply, I don't matter.
And when you believe that, it must shape everything. Your relationships.
Everything. You might attract partners who are emotionally unavailable, just like your parents were. You avoid conflict at all costs because you can't risk the connection. Why would you express a need if you fundamentally believe you don't deserve to have it met?
So the good news here is that this cycle can be broken. Healing is possible. You talk about reparenting yourself. What does that actually look like?
It's about filling that emotional void step by step. It's giving yourself the emotional education you missed out on.
So step one.
Learn to identify and name your emotions, just pausing and asking, what am I actually feeling right now? Moving past just fine or bad.
Okay.
Then you validate those feelings. You tell yourself, it's okay that I feel angry about this. It makes sense.
You're giving yourself the acknowledgement you never received.
You are. And then you practice allowing yourself to have needs and to ask for help without that crushing shame. You start to see that having needs is human, not a defect.
It's about turning down the volume on that inner critic.
And turning up the volume on self-compassion. The healing journey isn't about blaming parents. It's about becoming emotionally present for yourself right now.
So the big message, the thing you should really take away from this,
is that you are not broken. You're not weak or defective. You were emotionally overlooked. And because that wound came from an absence, it means those skills can be built. That void can be filled.
When you finally allow those ignored emotions to just exist, that feeling of emptiness starts to soften. A fuller life really does become possible.
It does.
So the question to leave you with is this. Which of your current struggles, maybe your people-pleasing or your perfectionism, might be rooted not in something you did wrong, but in an absence of something you were never given?